It's a quiet morning. The coffee pot gurgles in the background. Soft sunlight creeps across the kitchen table. You've taken your medications, eaten breakfast, and perhaps even stretched a bit. Everything seems normal. But inside your body, something silent might be building. The pressure in your arteries not felt, not seen, is slowly rising. There's no pain, no dizziness, no warning siren. Just a calm morning and an invisible threat. Here's the truth according to the National Institute on Aging. 65% of adults over 60 don't realize their blood pressure is too high. It's called the silent killer for a reason. You can feel fine, even healthy, while your arteries are under strain. And for many seniors, it's not one big mistake, but 7 small ones woven quietly into their daily routine. So let me ask you, if your heart could speak up right now, what would it say? Would it thank you for your daily efforts or ask you to look again at some of your habits? Would it say, keep going, or gently whisper, let's make one small change? If that question stirs something in you, I invite you to stay with us here on Dr. Jarek.H. This isn't about fear, it's about knowledge, what to avoid, what to improve, and how to protect the only heart you've ever had. I'll walk beside you, one habit at a time. And before we move on, let me ask, have you ever caught yourself saying, it's just part of aging? If so, drop a comment below with a simple, yes. You'd be surprised how many others have quietly felt the same way. Because here's the thing, we aren't just here to talk about blood pressure. We're here to talk about your independence, your sleep, your energy, your clarity of thought. Blood pressure is just the messenger. Over the next several minutes, I'm going to walk you through 7 daily habits so familiar they often go unnoticed. You'll discover how a snack that seems harmless, a nap routine that feels comforting, or even a healthy food label can quietly push your blood pressure higher. You'll meet real seniors people just like you who made tiny changes that led to major improvements. You'll see how awareness, not willpower, is the missing piece. And you'll leave this video with a clear, senior-friendly plan that doesn't overwhelm you but empowers you. We'll begin with the most common and most dangerous mistake, one that often starts with the words, I'll take it later. But first, remember this: managing your blood pressure doesn't mean changing who you are. It simply means understanding what your body truly needs today, this week, and for the years ahead. Let's begin. Your numbers are stable, so you skip a pill. Harmless. Right. It feels like a small thing. But in reality, skipping or misusing blood pressure medication is one of the most dangerous daily mistakes a senior can make. This habit is more common than most people admit. And it's costing lives not because of bad intentions, but because of quiet assumptions. Blood pressure medication doesn't work like a painkiller. You don't feel it working. There's no dramatic sense of relief or immediate effect. That's why it's easy to forget, delay, or second-guess its importance. But according to the National Institute on Aging 2022, missing even one dose can cause hidden fluctuations that slowly wear down arteries, strain the heart, and raise the risk of stroke, kidney damage, or even heart failure. Let me tell you about Dorothy, a 74-year-old widow from Iowa. She was doing well. Her blood pressure numbers looked fine for months. One day she thought, maybe I don't need the pill anymore. Then it became every other day. Soon she was only taking it when she remembered. When she fainted in her garden, her son rushed her to the ER. The culprit: a silent spike in her blood pressure caused by irregular medication use. Her story isn't rare. Many seniors forget doses. Others worry about side effects. Some feel embarrassed to ask their doctor about a cheaper alternative. And some, like Dorothy, simply believe they no longer need it because the readings look normal. But here's what most people don't realize: normal numbers often mean the medication is working. They're not a sign to stop. They're a reason to continue. Think of it like an umbrella during a storm. Just because you're dry doesn't mean it stopped raining. Naxim. So what can you do first? Create a daily routine. Take your medication at the same time every day, ideally linked to another habit, like brushing your teeth or eating breakfast. Use a weekly pill organizer so you can see if a dose was missed. Set a phone alarm. Ask a family member to check in if needed. Second, If you ever miss a dose, don't double up. Call your doctor or pharmacist, and if you're dealing with side effects or affordability concerns, speak up. There are generic options, dosage adjustments, and assistance programs that can help. Finally, never stop taking your medication without guidance. It's not just about lowering a number, it's about protecting your brain, kidneys, heart, and future. One skipped dose may feel like nothing but repeated over time. It's like a slow leak in a tire. You won't feel it until it's flat. Medication isn't a crutch, it's a shield. Respect it, understand it, and use it well. Your future self will thank you. Let's move on to the second mistake, a sneaky one. It might be sitting in your pantry right now. You don't use the salt shaker, but your pressure keeps rising. Why? Because salt isn't always where you think it is. One of the most misleading mistakes seniors make is believing they've cut salt just because they stopped adding it at the table. But in reality, over 70% of the sodium in the average senior's diet comes from packaged, canned, or processed foods, not the shaker. That's a quiet danger. It hides in foods we trust. Whole grain crackers, low-fat salad dressings, frozen meals labeled light. Even bread, cereal, and cottage cheese can contain surprising amounts of sodium. The label may say healthy, but behind the marketing, your arteries are under attack. Here's what happens inside your body. Salt causes your body to hold on to water. That extra fluid increases blood volume, putting added strain on the walls of your arteries. Over time, that pressure forces the heart to work harder, weakening the muscle and increasing your risk of heart attack, stroke, and kidney failure. And with age, your kidneys become less efficient at clearing out sodium, making this problem even worse. Let me introduce you to Henry, 69 from Ohio. He thought he was doing everything right. He stopped adding salt to his food, switched to low-fat microwave dinners, kept a food journal, but at each checkup, his blood pressure kept creeping up. His doctor finally had him bring in the packaging from his go-to meals. Turns out each light dinner packed over 800 milliliters of sodium, more than half his recommended daily intake in one serving. What felt like discipline was slowly causing harm. So what can you do? Start with awareness. Begin reading food labels not for calories or fat, but for sodium content. The goal? Choose products with less than 140 milliliters per serving, or those labeled no added salt. Next, make easy swaps. Rinse canned beans and vegetables to reduce sodium by up to 40%. Choose fresh or frozen foods without sauces. Replace prepackaged spice mixes with real herbs like rosemary, basil, garlic, lemon zest, or vinegar. Cook simple meals at home. You don't need to be a chef, just in control of the ingredients. You feel fine, so you skip the cuff. But what if that's the riskiest moment of all? High blood pressure doesn't knock on the door before it causes damage. It doesn't give you a headache or a flutter in the chest until it's already put your heart, brain, or kidneys under stress. And yet, many seniors go days, weeks, even months without checking their blood pressure at home. They rely on annual checkups or the occasional pharmacy reading. But that's like checking the weather once in January and assuming you'll be fine until summer. The truth is, blood pressure fluctuates throughout the day. It rises with stress, falls during rest, and reacts to what you eat, how well you slept, even how much water you drank. A single reading at your doctor's office, even if perfect, tells only part of the story. Let me tell you about Anita, 72 from Arizona. She was active, cheerful, took her medications. At her last appointment, her pressure was 126/76, textbook perfect. But 3 weeks later, she collapsed while shopping. The ER scan showed a small stroke. Her home readings never recorded would have shown the spikes, but she didn't have a monitor. She felt fine. This isn't scare talk. It's about prevention through awareness. A simple home blood pressure monitor can reveal what you won't feel. And it can give your doctor the full picture, not just a snapshot. So here's what you can do. Starting today, choose a reliable monitor with an upper arm cuff and a large display. Wrist monitors are often inaccurate for seniors. Pick a time morning is best. Sit calmly for 5 minutes before. Rest your arm at heart level. Feet flat on the floor. No talking. Record your results in a notebook or a simple app. Don't worry about every number. What matters is the trend. Bring your log to appointments. This helps your provider adjust medications or spot issues before they become problems. And if you see a sudden spike, don't panic. Sit, breathe, and recheck in 15 minutes. If it remains dangerously high, especially with symptoms like chest pain, vision changes, or confusion, seek help. Some people avoid monitoring because they don't want bad news. But knowledge isn't the enemy, it's protection. Ignorance only gives problems time to grow. Home monitoring isn't complicated. It's not expensive. It's not scary. It's just a habit, a 2-minute daily conversation with your body. You eat well. You take your medication. You walk when the weather's good. But there's one factor: quiet, constant, invisible, that may be quietly driving your blood pressure up every single day. Chronic stress. Stress isn't just a feeling, it's a physiological response. When you're anxious, rushed, overwhelmed, or holding in emotions, your body reacts with a surge of adrenaline and cortisol. These hormones raise your heart rate, constrict blood vessels, and keep your body in a constant state of alert. In short bursts, that's helpful. In emergencies, it keeps you safe. But when stress becomes your daily background noise, those pressure waves never turn off. Over time, this creates invisible damage, tightened arteries, elevated blood pressure, and long-term cardiovascular strain. Let's pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and think honestly. Has your body been tense lately? Shoulders tight? Sleep disturbed? Do you feel like you're always pushing through? You're not alone. Let me introduce you to Albert, 75, a retired school principal from Oregon. He loved watching his grandkids, but lately, caring for them left him tired and snappish. His blood pressure climbed, but he didn't understand why. He was eating better, even walking daily. But inside, he was carrying stress quietly, heavily. The turning point. A counselor asked one question: when do you let yourself rest emotionally? He didn't have an answer. Albert began practicing gentle breathing in the mornings, a walk without his phone, 10 minutes of journaling. He added one quiet hour each Sunday. Within a month, his blood pressure began to settle, not magically, but measurably. So what can you do? Start with simple practices that reset your nervous system. Deep breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4. Exhale for 6. Repeat for 3 minutes. Gentle movement, walking, tai chi, or stretching in the sun can dissolve tension in the body. Nature breaks, step outside and feel the air, notice a tree. Listen to birds. It matters more than it sounds. Gratitude journaling. Write down 3 good things each day. This tiny ritual shifts perspective and calms internal noise. Rest is good, but too much rest sends the wrong signal to your heart. Many seniors believe they're protecting their health by taking it easy, and to some extent, that's true. Your body needs recovery, especially after illness or injury. But when rest turns into routine inactivity, it quietly becomes one of the most harmful daily habits for blood pressure. You see, your heart is a muscle. And like any muscle, it stays strong only when it's used. Regular movement allows your heart to pump more efficiently, your blood vessels to stay flexible, and your entire circulatory system to remain resilient. But when we sit too long, day after day, the body begins to change. Circulation slows, muscles weaken, arteries become less elastic, blood pressure starts to rise gently, silently, persistently. Let's meet Linda, 67, a retired librarian from Wisconsin. She loved reading, watching nature shows, and enjoying her morning tea. Her days were quiet and peaceful, but during her annual physical, her blood pressure had climbed 15 points. "But I eat well," she told her doctor, "and I don't feel stressed." The answer: she was simply moving too little. Her peaceful days had become sedentary. So her doctor gave her one simple instruction: set a timer for every hour. When it goes off, stand up. At first, she just walked around the room. Then she added light stretches, then a 5-minute walk after lunch. 3 months later, her numbers were down and her energy was up. You don't need to run a marathon. You don't even need a gym. You just need to move intentionally and consistently. Here's how: stand up every 30-60 minutes. March in place for 1 minute. Stretch your arms overhead. Roll your shoulders. Walk daily. Even a 10-minute stroll around your home or block strengthens circulation. A morning coffee, an evening glass of wine, harmless or hidden hazards for many seniors. Caffeine and alcohol feel like small pleasures, a comforting start to the day, a way to unwind at night. But what often goes unnoticed is how these familiar substances can quietly undermine blood pressure control, especially after 60. Let's start with caffeine, found in coffee, tea, soda, chocolate, and even some pain relievers. Caffeine is a stimulant. It temporarily narrows your blood vessels and increases heart rate, which can elevate blood pressure sometimes dramatically, especially in people already sensitive to its effects. What makes it tricky is how varied the reaction can be. Some seniors can drink 2 cups of coffee with no noticeable impact. Others, like Ruth, 66 from New Mexico, begin to feel jittery, lightheaded, or flushed after just one. Ruth loved her iced tea. She had 2 glasses with lunch, 1 with dinner, every day. Her readings were erratic, and she couldn't figure out why. It wasn't until she started checking her pressure before and after tea that the connection became clear. Her numbers jumped by 12 at 15 points each time. Switching to decaf brought them back down and brought her peace of mind. Alcohol carries a different set of risks. While a small glass of red wine might feel harmless or even healthy, the reality is more complex. Alcohol interferes with blood pressure medication, causes fluid imbalance, and affects sleep, weight, and stress levels, all of which can increase pressure over time. And as we age, our liver processes alcohol more slowly. That means its effects last longer and build up more quickly. According to the National Institute on Aging, more than 1 drink per day for older adults can lead to sustained blood pressure increases and higher cardiovascular risk. So what can you do? First, track your intake. If you drink coffee, tea, or soda daily, try checking your pressure 30 minutes after consumption. Look for patterns. Notice how you feel. If you experience racing heartbeat, headache, or restlessness, consider cutting back. Switch gradually. Try half calf, herbal teas like chamomile or peppermint, or warm lemon water. For alcohol, aim to keep it under 1 drink per day, with alcohol-free days each week. Replace wine with a sparkling water and a slice of orange. Keep the ritual, change the contents. And never mix alcohol with medications unless your doctor explicitly says it's safe. Some combinations can cause dizziness, liver strain, or reduce medication effectiveness. Here's the good news: many seniors report better sleep, more stable energy, and lower readings within weeks of reducing caffeine and alcohol. Your taste buds adjust, your body adapts, and your heart breathes easier. This isn't about giving up comfort. It's about choosing comfort that supports you, not sabotages you. Because when it comes to blood pressure, even small sips can have big effects. Next, we'll explore a mistake that has nothing to do with what you consume, but everything to do with how well you're understood. If your doctor only hears half the story, they can't write the right plan. One of the most underestimated mistakes seniors make isn't about medication or food, it's communication. Or rather, the lack of it. Many older adults assume that as long as they show up to appointments and refill prescriptions, they're doing their part. But in reality, the success of your blood pressure plan depends heavily on what your doctor actually knows. Blood pressure isn't a set it and forget it condition. It changes with your sleep, stress, movement, other medications, even the seasons. If you're not sharing how you feel, how your readings vary, or what changes you've made in your routine, your provider is working with a puzzle missing half its pieces. Let me introduce you to Paul, 71 from Florida. He began feeling lightheaded after taking his morning pill, but didn't want to bother his doctor. So he stopped taking it every few days to avoid the dizziness. When his numbers shot up, he blamed stress. It wasn't until a routine visit months later that he finally mentioned it. His doctor immediately adjusted the dosage and the dizziness disappeared. That one conversation could have saved him months of discomfort, confusion, and risk. Why don't we speak up for many? It's fear of being seen as a burden, of sounding dramatic, or of taking too much time. But here's the truth. No detail is too small if it helps protect your heart. So what should you share new symptoms? Even if they seem minor dizziness, fatigue, swelling, changes in vision or sleep, changes in routine. Starting new supplements, stopping exercise, traveling, even a high sodium meal, emotional health anxiety, loneliness, grief. These affect blood pressure more than most realize. At home readings bring a log. Patterns matter more than one number. And if speaking in person is hard, ask about telehealth, patient portals, or having a trusted loved one join the conversation. Many clinics today offer virtual visits, messaging apps, or written intake forms where you can note concerns ahead of time. Also, yet don't be afraid to ask questions. What's this medication doing? It says natural, but that doesn't mean safe. In today's world, many seniors turn to supplements and over-the-counter OTC remedies for everything from sleep to digestion to joint pain. And while some of these products can be helpful, others carry hidden risks, especially for those managing high blood pressure. The most dangerous mistake believing that natural means harmless. Let's take ginseng, for example. It's often marketed for energy or brain health, but it can raise blood pressure and interfere with medications. The same goes for licorice root, which can cause sodium retention and potassium loss, both of which increase cardiovascular strain. Even seemingly gentle herbs like St. John's wort, used for mood support, can weaken the effects of blood pressure medications. Now consider common OTC drugs, things like ibuprofen Advil, naproxen Aleve, or cold medicines containing pseudoephedrine. These may offer quick relief for pain or congestion, but they also constrict blood vessels, leading to pressure spikes sometimes dangerously high. Let me share a real story. Joyce, 63, had recently lost weight and was excited about improving her health. She took a daily blood pressure pill and felt stable. But when spring allergies hit, she picked up an OTC decongestant. 2 days later, she felt flushed and dizzy. Her blood pressure was 182/98, the culprit. A harmless cold remedy with ingredients that directly countered her meds. It's not just what you take, it's how it interacts with everything else in your body. So what can you do? Always read labels carefully. Watch for ingredients like ephedrine, pseudoephedrine, ibuprofen, ginseng, licorice, and yohimbe. Keep a master list of everything you take: prescriptions, vitamins, supplements, teas. Share it with your doctor at every appointment. Ask before adding anything new. Talk to your pharmacist or provider before starting a supplement, even if it seems minor. Watch for warning signs: headaches, flushed face, dizziness, irregular heartbeat, or sudden changes in energy. These could signal a harmful interaction. Be cautious with online health trends. Just because a friend or influencer swears by it doesn't mean it's safe for you. Every body is different, and yours deserves personalized care. You can eat right and move daily, but if you don't sleep well, your blood pressure suffers silently. Most people think of sleep as a bonus, something nice, but not essential. In truth, sleep is your body's built-in repair system, especially for your cardiovascular health. And poor sleep habits or untreated sleep disorders are a major, yet under-recognized cause of elevated blood pressure in seniors. While you sleep, your blood pressure normally drops by 10 to 20%, giving your arteries a much-needed rest. But when sleep is too short, too fragmented, or too shallow, that drop doesn't happen. And over time, that lack of nighttime recovery can lead to sustained daytime hypertension. In fact, according to Harvard Health, just 4 nights of poor sleep can raise your blood pressure and reduce memory recall by 23%. And by age 65, over 50% of adults experience disrupted sleep without even realizing it. Take Larry, 76, from Colorado. He walked daily, ate low-sodium meals, and took his medications on time, but his pressure stayed high. His doctor asked a simple question: "Do you wake up tired?" Larry said yes. They ran a sleep study and discovered sleep apnea. With treatment, not only did his blood pressure improve, but so did his energy, focus, and mood. So what causes these hidden sleep issues? Sleep apnea: breathing briefly stops during sleep, causing repeated stress on the heart. Frequent nighttime urination, common in older adults, interrupts deep sleep. Restless leg syndrome creates discomfort and constant movement. Anxiety or racing thoughts. Keep the nervous system active even at bedtime. Here's how you can protect your heart through better sleep. Establish a regular bedtime and wake-up time, even on weekends. The more stressed you are, the more salt you crave, And the more salt you eat, the more stressed your heart becomes. It's a hidden loop one that quietly fuels high blood pressure, even in people who are doing most things right. Scientists call it the salt stress cycle, and for seniors, it can become a daily trap. Stress triggers cravings for salty, comforting foods, which in turn raise blood pressure, leading to more physical strain and more stress. It doesn't feel dramatic. It feels normal. That little bag of pretzels while watching TV, the salty crackers with soup, the pickles from the fridge after a long day. Each bite offers comfort. But inside your body, the message is very different. We're under attack. Stress activates cortisol, the hormone that drives survival instincts. Cortisol increases sodium retention, raises heart rate, and tells your brain to seek energy-dense, salty foods. Over time, this rewires taste preferences and appetite patterns. Let me introduce you to Sharon, 70, a retired nurse in Michigan. After losing her husband, she felt constantly tense. Food became her comfort, and salty snacks were her go-to. She wasn't overeating, just snacking more often, but her blood pressure steadily climbed, and she couldn't figure out why. Her doctor gently helped her connect the dots. Grief triggered stress, stress triggered salt cravings, salt spiked her pressure. Once she recognized the loop, everything changed. Here's how you can break the salt stress cycle. Notice when you crave salt. Is it after a tough conversation? A restless night? A stressful errand? Name the emotion. Are you bored? Lonely? Worried? Naming the feeling helps diffuse the automatic habit. Substitute the ritual, not the reward. Instead of chips, try air-popped popcorn with herbs. Swap salty crackers for apple slices with nut butter. Or sip warm broth with low sodium when you need comfort. Build calm breaks into your day. 5 minutes of deep breathing or a quick walk around the house can release stress before it turns into a craving. Keep healthier snacks visible. What you see first, you're more likely to eat. Place fresh fruit or unsalted nuts at eye level. Let's take a quiet moment to breathe. You've just uncovered 7 everyday habits so familiar, so ordinary that can slowly, silently raise your blood pressure. Not out of malice, not out of neglect, simply out of routine. From missed pills to hidden sodium, from too much sitting to not enough sleep. These aren't dramatic errors, they're small, repeatable patterns. But over time, they shape your health. What matters now isn't guilt, it's grace. You've gained knowledge, you've gained awareness, and that's the turning point. As you reflect, ask yourself, which one of these habits feels familiar? Which one can you begin to shift today? Maybe it's checking your pressure tomorrow morning. Maybe it's swapping that salty snack for something lighter. Maybe it's just taking a walk after this video. And as you move forward, remember this: small changes made steadily are stronger than big promises made once. Your heart doesn't need perfection. It just needs your partnership. If this video brought you clarity or comfort, please subscribe to Dr. Jarek.H. We're building a space where seniors are informed, supported, and never spoken down to. Your voice belongs here. So take care, stay curious, and know every wise choice you make, no matter how small, helps your heart beat with strength, rhythm, and peace. You've already started. Keep going.